Amigas y amigos de Ready para Exportar, estamos buscando voces importantes en el área de la tecnología, de la inteligencia artificial, y hoy le traemos a ustedes un invitado muy especial desde Curazao. Tenemos a Kevin van Eenennaam, no sé si lo pronuncio bien, pero vamos a conversar con Kevin en inglés sobre estos temas y para nosotros conocer qué está pasando en el resto de la región, qué está pasando en Curazao. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us today. It seems like every time we open a newspaper, we browse the net, we find a new development, technological development in AI, and things are going so fast in our Caribbean region, where generally we go slowly adopting new technology. How do you see those trends, and how you see our region trying to catch up on those trends?
Okay, well, first of all, Ms. Mora, thank you for having me. Well, I do agree with you. We are constantly being overwhelmed with the technology advancements and trends. And to be honest with you, I operate currently mainly in the Caribbean region, but I have done some business in Europe and international as well. And I do see that it's not because of the fact that we are in the Caribbean and the Caribbean region is smaller that we are behind this trend. We have a lot of people, a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge available in this region, and technology is also making it easier for us to adapt to the constant changes. So that being said, I think that the Caribbean, in terms of being able to follow this trend, we are actually on the trend right now. And I do think that trends like AI has helped us to be able to move faster with the technological advancements. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your company, Kadushi.tech. What type of work do you do in Curazao and in other Caribbean places?
First of all, Kadushi.tech. Kadushi is on Curacao, we have a local language called papiamento, and Kadushi is actually a type of cactus that grows in Curacao, but also in the Caribbean region. And it's known for its resilient characteristics and also being able to just withstand challenges. And I did like that as an image and logo for my company, and also the name. We offer services starting from software testing, which is called in the IT world, it's referred to as quality assurance. So in the terms of when software is being developed and being implemented into companies, we guide the implementation process where we do the testing part, the UAT. I don't know if you ever heard of the term UAT, but UAT stands for user acceptance testing, because a lot of money is involved in software development and the risks are high, and it's very important that once you implement software in a company, that the software meets the requirements that have been set by the customer. And if you would skip that step, you introduce a lot of risks in your company. So we help companies to assure that the software they are purchasing meets the quality standards that they're demanding. That's one focus area. We have three focus areas. We focus on quality assurance, we focus on business analysis, and we focus on robotics and AI. Business analysis is actually the part where we help companies define requirements. We do process management. That's before software is being developed. So we do both. We help companies define what they want by doing a complete analysis of their current situation and their to-be situation. We draft the requirements, and then we provide those requirements to any development team to start developing the software. Meanwhile that the software is being developed, we start to focus on the quality assurance aspect of it, because when they're developing, depending on how they develop, once they start implementing the software, we already start guiding the process of user acceptance testing. So that's, it goes hand in hand. And robotics is our new focus area for the past 2 years, actually, is where it's not always possible to make tailor-made solutions with software in companies where, for example, you have a lot of systems in place, a lot of software applications. And let me give you a clear example. Imagine you have a registration form in system A that needs to be scanned, and then it needs to be printed, then it needs to be sent to a different system. You have a lot of systems that need to communicate with each other, and it's not always easy to make those integrations quickly. We use a robot to simulate the process as if it's a human. So we do the robotics process automation, where we teach a software robot certain skills it needs to go through to make it work. For example, on the tax administration of Curaçao, we have the appeal processes. It's called, in Dutch, it's the bezwaar. In English, it's appeals. For instance, you file your tax return and you get, you're not agreeing with the amount of tax that you need to pay. You file an appeal. Well, we get a lot of appeals in Curaçao. We get a lot, everywhere actually. And what happens is those appeals, they come in, and those appeals need to be manually checked, and then again, a status needs to be put in system A and then system B. We help that whole process so it goes faster. We also have robots doing monitoring, reporting, and we recently introduced AI in the mix to help us actually identify inefficient processes so that we can already be one step ahead in our own automation. So that's how AI is really helping us right now to proactively focus on new opportunities when it comes to robotic process automation. Yeah.
There's a lot of fear regarding AI. Cybersecurity, for example, is one of them. But also, how do I control it instead of controlling me? Maybe it's lack of knowledge, but what do you say about it?
Well, in our experience with AI is that the available tooling and the available resources to get up to read into and start working with AI, I mean, it's out there. It's mainly free. Everyone can start using it. That's where it gets a bit dangerous, in my opinion. Let me give you a clear example. ChatGPT is known as a very popular tool. You just go on ChatGPT.com and you have a question, you put it in there, and you get the information you want. I think it's getting very dangerous the moment people start asking ChatGPT questions using company data. For example, they copy paste an email they get and they paste it into ChatGPT and they ask ChatGPT to draft a response, or they get an Excel file with data and they upload it into ChatGPT. Again, that's very unsafe. So I think it's very important for companies to know that their internal security department needs to focus on these risks. And I would suggest in those cases to disable even ChatGPT for internal personnel. And you could always start using different forms of AI that are hosted on private servers, on private clouds. The disadvantage of that is that as long as that AI model does not have the data to give you the answers you want or you're seeking, it needs to learn. So it's going to be a learning process. So you're gonna, if you, in my experience with implementing AI in companies, is that we guide the companies more into creating a knowledge base, a safe space where those companies have they use all their own data, all their own outputs, and we start building a database and their own knowledge model. That's what we call it. So we're not depending on the cloud-based knowledge model. It takes time, but that's how you eliminate the security risks with AI. So Yeah.
That's been also one of my concerns is that because there's not so much data in general in the Caribbean, we don't produce a lot of statistics and a lot of data. So when we ask ChatGPT or whoever to give us an opinion regarding something, let's say regarding the Caribbean or one of our countries in the region,
Yeah.
if they don't have data relevant to the country and the region, they're going to give us a biased answer because it's based on whatever data they can find.
This is the same as we had with Wikipedia, and we're still having with Wikipedia in the beginning. I mean, you can't just go to and trust the data. So you have to build that maturity in your data set. And I would never blindly trust the output of ChatGPT or any AI solution until you're definitely sure that that the data is mature. So I think it's inevitable. I find my work to be very much more efficient using tooling like AI, but at the same time, I use it more to like help me and guide me and draft towards something. But then again, I go into a review mode, and maybe I saved some time, but you have to stay sharp all the time, continuously. And if I would recommend like any good tooling for AI to implement in your own organization, if you're already working with Microsoft solutions, then Microsoft has their own AI tooling embedded into Office 365 right now. So
Copilot is better.
Yeah, Copilot is, I'm careful in stating if it's better or not better, but it's integrated, that's one. It's easily installed into your infrastructure if you have the right people in place. And you can start with your available data based on your business intelligence, Power BI, and stuff like that. Of course, there are other solutions as well. For instance, I've worked with the legal industry, and they have their own. The legal industry in Holland, for example, has their own AI solution for law firms. So if you want to check a certain case, for example, don't go dumping that case into ChatGPT. There's a specific AI tooling for these cases. It's very expensive, but you are guaranteed that the data below that is 100% correct. So that's a different trend. I think that people should start talking about that more, is that there are more AI tools branch specific. I know there's one for healthcare. I know there's one for finance. I just spoke to you about the one of the law industry. So, and these toolings are not cheap. I'm not saying because they're expensive they are to be trusted, but I guarantee that they are designed to be less of a risk in terms of security, and that you could trust the output way better.
Yeah. They have better sources.
Yeah, that's it. ChatGPT is like actually what you're getting right now with ChatGPT, and you have another one called James, and you have the one Gemini and stuff like that. They're like Google. They're like, yeah.
And we know that companies, particularly SMEs, have a challenge in adopting technology. But like you said, we are going there, so it doesn't make any point resisting. So how a small company prepare themselves to embrace AI beyond ChatGPT?
I would suggest any company, read and educate your team, your resources. There are trainings online available, certified trainings even. I would start with a pilot group, for instance, a certain department, start to certify them to be able to use the tooling, use that knowledge, make them advocates of the whole new concept within the organization. Once you have an advocate team, they will empower the rest of the organization to start focusing on that as well. But that's in my experience more from, we do a lot of change management as well. And what I've encountered in the past is when you have an organization, even if it's a small organization, you should always have like a team, a task force of advocates to be able to implement the whole new way of working into the organization. Because if you target the whole team all at once, it's not going to work, or you're going to have a lot of resistance. So in my experience, I would say let them follow trainings, courses, let them go hands-on with the tooling. But you also need to redefine certain company procedures and processes, document them. The legal aspect also has to be involved. So it's a whole team approach, but start small, plant the seed, and it grows into your organization. Yeah.
So looking at the ICT sector in Curazao, how would you describe it? Because I think it's important to let people know, how many of you are working cutting edge technology. You have the Blue Nap, you have many other facilities. Just tell us a little bit more about what is happening in Curazao.
Well, right now in Curazao, we have a lot of what we call IT entrepreneurs. So most of us, for instance, in my own experience, I started with one of the big five on the island. I've worked with them for 5 to 6 years, and about 5 years ago, I started my own business. And what you're seeing right now is a lot of guys are starting with their own concepts into new forms of technology. A lot of people working in data, security, AI, software testing, development. We even have fintech, financial technology, which is like booming on the island right now. There's a huge solution called Send2, known for making online payments, and they're working with a lot of online and also offline clients to make online payments and payments possible. Curazao right now is using all the latest trends on such a small island, but what you see in Curazao also is that we have a lot of people working for the international sector. For instance, my company, we're doing the Caribbean right now. We have done work with Europe. Probably work is coming up again. But actually my focus right now is the Caribbean, to stay focused into the Caribbean. But you have a lot of digital nomads here as well, serving the international sector. So a lot of developers in all forms and low code, no code platforms. So in terms of IT and technology, this is me promoting Curazao, of course, but it's a great island. It's a beautiful island, and you have a lot of knowledge available on the island regarding IT and technology. So yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, our time is up, but Kevin van Eenennaam, did I pronounce that?
It's Kevin van Eenennaam. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the easiest, but you almost had it.
Well, Kevin, I got it right? So thank you so much for all the information that you share and the advice that you share with us today. A ustedes, muchas gracias por su sintonía y nos vemos la próxima semana en Red para Exportar y en Metrópolis.